Hello and welcome back to our playthrough of Eagle Rising, and in the previous episode the Southern Imperium had taken Husson Folk, or however you want to say it. I still have no idea, but thank you to those of you that suggested your interpretation of the name. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to be taking the fight to the Aserai here, or as they are now known in the build that patron supporters actually get on the Eagle Rising Patreon page. They are now known as Carthage. So that is going to be very, very exciting when it is released to the public, and hopefully it's going to look just as good as the rest of the mod already does. Alright, so here we go. I actually do have a number of companions that I could potentially assign here, but because we have so many people in the allied army, it's not really that useful, I'd say. So for example, I could put her here. I mean, she has a decent amount of perks, but I think I have more, which is actually kind of amusing. I'm not entirely sure why I have more, but okay. Anyway, we're just going to do that, and then we'll see what we can do. Now, I still don't have a crossbow. I have checked all the marketplaces that I have passed by on the way to Aserai territory, and it appears that I will definitely need to head to either Vlandian territory or potentially Batanian. I know Batanian sometimes, I don't know, Batanian's sometimes a little bit weird, because sometimes they have crossbows, sometimes they don't. I think it very much depends, really, but for the most part, I think Vlandia is going to be my best option, which is really weird, actually, because the Imperium does actually use crossbows, but I have not seen one crossbow in their marketplace. So that's just how it is, I guess. That's just how it is. Anyway, let's try and see if I can. Oh, we're taking so many of these guys off their mounts at the moment, which is really, really cool to see that. Maybe I can do a little bit of damage with my crossbow from massive range. Oh, nice. We hit him in the head. Can you believe it? I certainly can't. Nice, we actually killed someone from this distance as well. So generally, any single time you can do something like this, you're gonna gain a massive amount of riding skill. Like if you can ride from, you know, sort of this kind of distance, and if you get headshots or kills or anything like that, you're gonna gain a massive skill boost as a result of your actions here. Maybe I'm going to be able to get a couple more kills. That would be pretty nice. I mean, that's the reason why I have 2 quivers worth of bolts, so that we can do this kind of thing and we don't have to worry about it too much. I'm a bit too close to gain maximum skill, so I should really move away a little bit more. Oh, look! The allies are actually coming in. Oh, now that's rare. That is a rarity indeed. Usually they are very passive and they just kind of stand back, not really doing anything at all. But no, this time around they're taking the fight to the opponent, which I very much like to see. That is absolutely wonderful. The allies generally tend to be very cautious. They don't tend to go in there at all, and the enemy, as you can quite clearly tell, has now adopted a very defensive posture, which of course is not exactly great for us. Oh, wait, can I? Oh, no, never mind. I was actually hoping that I might be able to eliminate the enemy vassal, but good luck getting into that. Good luck getting in there, because there are so many polearms aimed outwards, it is impossible. Absolutely impossible for a cavalry person, yes, horsey fellow, to penetrate that particular defensive formation. It's just way too well fortified. Oh, look, they've broken it. Oh, that's kind of weird. Okay, I wouldn't have expected them to break it so easily, but okay. And we're just going to run along the line here, doing a little bit of stabby action, and hopefully we'll be able to eliminate a number of people, enough that possibly the morale will take a big hit, and then the enemy will see fit to run away. I at least hope that that will be the case, because generally I would prefer to win fights that way rather than kill as many people as possible. Because if we can win battles just through sheer terror, pretty much, and reducing the enemy's morale, then that will actually end up increasing the amount of units that survive, basically. That's my whole reason for that, because generally, if you are able to cause the enemy to run away, instead of fighting to the death, then of course your casualties are also going to be relatively minimal. So you shouldn't have to worry about resupplying your own forces or something like that. I did run through, by the way, the various local villages and the various towns along the way that are very good with their unit supplies. I mean, you know the ones I'm talking about, the ones that usually have the Praetorius units. The Praetorius units are absolutely fantastic in my opinion. They are really, really good. And I've tried to get as many of those as I can get my hands on. Oh! Ouch. Alright, that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt. Oh, hello there, sir. You really want to fight me? That's not a good idea. Yeah, that is not a good idea. Whoever I am playing at the moment... Oh, yes. I got some bare legs. I know, I know. Someone said that that's the way that people used to, you know, organize their outfits for the day. Obviously, I'm joking. If you can't tell, that is a joke, because I have received a number of comments that say, that's how they used to do things back then, and, you know, all that. And yes, generally, whenever I say something like that, it is not meant to be taken seriously, because while I am a little bit ignorant, a lot ignorant, shall we say, when it comes to things of this nature, in terms of history and so on and so forth, you know, and the outfit choices of our ancestors, or in some cases, I suppose, some people's ancestors, yeah, I'm not really going to know that much about that. So, yeah, but anyway, generally, I will be, you know, just poking a little bit of fun here and there, but, yeah, I just thought I'd kind of shed some light on that, because some people seem to think I'm actually serious. And okay, were you watching for 2 seconds? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, there we go. Let's do super fast mode. Yeah, because actually someone reminded me that we even have this, to be honest, because I don't think I've even used it so far in this series. And it's definitely going to be very, very useful for me to start using that a lot more in these larger battles, whenever the enemy is starting to dwindle super, you know, a lot, and then we don't have to really worry about chasing them down that much. Okay, so there we go. That is a wonderful victory for us right there, and we can now take quite a few of the enemies prisoner, and I will certainly be doing most of that, and then we will be taking prisoners. I really want to take more prisoners, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, so I'll just let them go to anyone else that really wants them. And it seems like this guy is actually going to get some pretty significant upgrades as well. I'm pretty sure he's going to be super happy with that anyway. Does he have thrown weapon skill? I believe he does have thrown weapon skill. Yes, he does. So we might as well give him 2 thrown weapons right there, and then just auto upgrade them, and hopefully he's going to be looking pretty nice. Yeah, he's looking pretty nice right now. Considering his culture is actually Aserai, he's looking real in keeping with where he comes from. So that's pretty nice, because I generally would like to keep that sort of theme going forward throughout the series. So if we do have a companion that is, for example, Batanian, or if we have a companion that's Sturgian or something like that, then I would like to be able to keep the theme of their armor somewhat intact. Obviously, that may not be possible most of the time, but generally, I think that would be quite quite an amusing thing to do, quite fun. And yeah, actually, you know what we're going to do now? I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to send a messenger to Regea. Hopefully the messenger is going to arrive before we go in here. Yes, we are actually going to go in to a siege. Oh yeah. Alright, so there's something I'd like to discuss. I would like to be more than a mercenary. I'd like to be your husband, because I've just married your daughter. That sounds exactly the most messed up thing ever. But yeah, let's not do that right now. Or ever, actually. Anyway, I am ready. Let's do this. I swear by my ancestors that you are lawful, rightful empress of the Cauradians. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so there we are. And, oh, she's actually giving us troops? Oh, now that's actually kind of amazing. Give me all those troops. Thank you very much. And she's even giving us items. Oh, I had no idea that she was going to do this. This is actually amazing. Okay, I will take all of that. We'll, oh, these are some nice boots. Look at that. Or greaves, shall we say. Oh, they're looking real good. They are looking real good. Okay, I'm liking this a whole bunch. Okay, so he can use some new stuff too. There we go. Ira doesn't really need anything specifically, but she could definitely use a little bit of an upgrade in terms of her streetwear. And otherwise, everyone's looking real nice. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so that is... Wow, I'm actually super happy that they implemented something like that, because generally I feel like that's exactly what would happen, you know? If you pledge loyalty to someone and you have proven yourself to be a worthy warrior, a worthy soldier, you know, to whoever, and you're pledging loyalty to them, then surely they're going to provide you with some kind of well, not incentive really, but just a little bit of equipment or something like that, or maybe some money, I don't know. But generally I think that's super nice. Okay, so now that we are a vassal, bear in mind I'm not going to be getting any mercenary wages anymore, which is obviously very bad, because I am now in a pretty significant problem here with my money situation. But that is actually not that bad, because here's the thing. What we're going to be able to do, I'm going to go for best medicine, by the way, but what we're going to be able to do is take this town, and then hopefully as a result of taking the town, we will, oh yeah, this is, oh, actually both of these are really good. I'm going to go for the crossbow kills, I guess, reducing the enemy's morale. Anyway, yeah, we're going to take the town, and then the tariffs and rents and things like that from there will hopefully make a big difference to our current debt deficit. And hopefully that's going to be real nice for us. Okay, so I'm actually going to be increasing my engineering here and increasing my intelligence a little bit more as well, because obviously we're going to be heading in just a second to besiege this. And there's only, yep, only 66. Only 66 units in the garrison here, which is absolutely amazing. And what we're going to attempt to do, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I am going to attempt to build a battering ram and a siege tower. I don't think that's I personally don't think that's going to work. I think that someone is going to appear from the Aserai, and they're going to say, hey, would you mind not doing that? They're probably going to come up to us and say that, you know. A cease and desist order will be signed by Unkid himself, but let's hope that that does not happen just yet, because I would like to be able to increase my engineering skill just a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more, so that we have the ability. I mean, look at that, you know, it's not going too badly. I'm actually just going to build a whole bunch of ballistas at the moment, just so that I can increase my engineering skill. That's it. That's the only reason why I'm doing that, because look at that, 4 engineering skill from that. And I'm actually going to put them in reserve so they don't get destroyed, so that we don't lose any additional units. And we're just going to sort of power level our engineering skill a little bit here. And there we have it. Okay, so now we're just going to build 1 trebuchet, and then I'm going to head in there, because I am now maxed out in terms of my HP. Obviously, it's taken a bit of time for me to restore myself, and then we're going to be heading in and hopefully being able to take this without too many difficulties. And there we are. There we are. Nice. We've gotten to 50 engineering, which is super good already. Range siege, increase equipped crossbow damage by 3. That could actually be super useful. So I'm probably going to be taking that, although increasing your shield hit points by 30% is very good. So if you want to be like a walking tank, yeah, please go for that. But generally, I am using a crossbow, and I'm not using a shield, so it's much more likely for the other thing to be more useful, you know, more damage for the crossbow. Okay, so range siege engines are 25% less likely to be hit while bombarding settlements, and prisoner escape chance from dungeons is decreased by 25%. Range siege engines. I mean, either one of these. I think personally, Prison Architect is probably the better one, even though I'm not really the governor or anything, so that's not really going to make any difference there. But anyway, now that we are at 50 engineering and I'm at full max HP, let's head on in and see what we can do about taking the town. And obviously there's only 66 enemies here, so we should really have no issues whatsoever. And I'm going to get off my mount real fast. Bear in mind, I do not have a shield. So these kinds of sieges are going to be a little bit difficult for me, but I should be okay as long as I go up somewhere that isn't heavily defended. Wow, there's actually a lot of enemies very close by. Nice hit. Oh yeah, they've got a bunch of catapults now as well, which is also a bit of a downside to what I did initially, because obviously me wanting to level up my engineering skill has now kind of shot us in the foot a bit, because now all of these catapults are bombarding us super hard and eliminating a lot of well, shall we say, a lot of their enemies and a lot of our allies, and that's obviously pretty awful. As you can see, they have destroyed our siege tower. And they've destroyed our battering. Oh, we are literally retreating? Okay. Okay. Continue siege preparations, I suppose. That was completely planned. Yes. That was completely planned. And it is to lull the enemy into a full sense of security, of course. It is not a complete failure on my part. No, not at all. No, that was absolutely intended. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea how that was even possible, to be honest. I mean, I guess it is pretty obvious because they literally just built all these catapults almost immediately, and it was super easy for them. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to quit the siege. And I'm just going to wait here. I'm just going to move around a little bit so that my walk it off perks can sort of kick in. So that we can restore ourselves just that much faster. Honoratus is coming. No. You're not going to siege this, sir. You are not going to besiege this. Thank you very much. I am going to besiege this. Oh, now they have massive amounts of people in there. What a classic, eh? What a classic. And I only have 1,000 gold remaining. Oh, it's grinding my gears. It's grinding my gears. I couldn't pay all my wages. Look at that. Yeah, alright. So, this is what we're going to do this time around. We are not going to be waiting for anything. We're just going to literally go straight on in. And we're going to have to use the siege ladders. In my opinion, the siege ladders are probably going to be better for us anyway. And most of the time, I would wholeheartedly assume that they're going to be much better. So we are not going to order anyone to do anything. And we're basically just going to head up here ourselves. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. Crazy horse stuff, because this is what happens when you... Yeah, okay, let's just ignore that for the moment. That's what happens when you actually use the... super fast mode while you're on a horse, hilariously enough, if you didn't know. But yeah, anyway, let's go and see if I can maybe do something here. I really do need to try and reduce the enemy's morale as significantly as possible. It seems like we don't seem to be doing too badly. Oh, that guy got murdered. Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm not that fellow. You know, that would have been pretty embarrassing. Okay, so here we go. Murder. Murder is the name of the game at the moment. And staying alive is certainly not on the menu for me. No. I can't believe I'm getting shot and killed so incredibly easily. Who's shooting me? Oh, that guy. Are you serious? Don't shoot me, sir. Phew, okay. Big deep breath from my side right here because I was very close to death right there, literally. If one of those guys had had a slightly better slash on me, I think you might have been able to pinpoint the actual exact time when I could have been eliminated, but thankfully he hit me for only 6 damage. So he must have hit me with like a low part of his sword, or even partially the hilt, and that might have made all the difference. But there you go. We actually achieved victory, as you see. Super easy in comparison to using the siege engines, and there are so many more units in the garrison as well, which is really quite funny. And that's exactly the reason why I actually have said in the past, and indeed even now, siege engines can be very shall we say, can be a very big disadvantage. When you would think that they're going to be an advantage, they're actually sometimes mostly not, because your units are going to congregate around these siege engines, and they're going to think to themselves, oh yes, I love staying next to this wonderful siege tower, you know, it's going to protect me, it's a structure with a lot of HP, and so on and so forth. But obviously the enemy also has siege engines, and with their catapults, they are literally just going to rip that thing to shreds, and that's exactly what happened here. In one of my previous attempts, that is. Anyway, there we go. The defenders are routed, and it's clear that Fulk is yours. Yes, it's time for you to determine the fate of the city. So this is where I'm actually going to show you the devastate and pillage options, because if you've seen my previous series, we actually did attempt to devastate and pillage some of the towns that we were nearby to, but unfortunately, we weren't able to do that because it was the same culture as us. But thankfully, because this is Aserai and we are, of course, Imperium, that is making a big difference. Okay, so as you can see, it loses them prosperity, building levels, loyalty, notable powers, relation with the settlement owner, party morale change, and you also gain gold. Now, here's the thing. Personally, I think this is absolutely useless. I really don't understand why you would do this, because if you only gain 1,400 gold, I really don't understand why you would even bother doing it, to be honest. I think showing mercy is perfectly fine. You lose a very small amount of prosperity. I mean, the town loses a very small amount of prosperity, and the party morale change obviously comes in. The only reason why you would devastate is if you really do not care about taking ownership of the town itself, and you're assuming that the enemy is going to be taking it back relatively soon. And in which case, yeah, then it's definitely a good idea to do it, because then obviously you're going to basically destroy all the building upgrades and all that stuff. But I'm going to be showing mercy for the moment, and we are going to claim the fief. Yes, indeed, we are going to claim the fief. And now I can actually go in here and see what's going on. I have no money to actually dedicate to this, which is very amusing. However, I do have an Aserai governor who I am going to be putting in there straight away, so that he can actually prevent us from losing a possible huge amount of loyalty in the meantime. So now let's go to improved garrison and see what we can do here. So I'm going to recruit probably 250 or so. That's probably not going to be enough, to be honest. Going to go for tier 4 units, and we're actually going to be recruiting... actually, no, I don't want to send a recruiter out, because if I send a recruiter out, they're just going to get killed. That's usually what happens to me every single time, so I would prefer if we don't actually have that happen. Okay, so otherwise, what can we do now? Well, let's have a look. Let's go over to the trade screen. I'm going to need to sell some stuff. Let's see if there's anything that I need to upgrade. Nope, doesn't seem like it, so I can actually finally get some additional cash, which is definitely going to be very useful for me right now. And I think we're going to sell all the weapons. I know I did gain some weapons in some of the tournaments in the previous episode, but generally, unless it's a hammer or something, which is obviously, yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about that right now, but generally, if it's a mace or something like that, then I'm definitely going to, you know, consider using it, but I was unable to win that tournament, so yes, wonderful, isn't it? Okay, so now we have 40,000 gold just from that loot, so now I can actually spend the 10,000 that I need, and we are currently building some orchards. That's going to take another 14 days, which is actually not bad. Okay, so loyalty is actually not even bad. It's not terribly awful. And hopefully the governor is going to make a big difference over time. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be attacked by a very, very large army. But if they do decide to attack us, then that is perfectly fine. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. And we do have some additional perks to take. So increase your control attribute or increase your vigor attribute. Okay, well at the moment I have 9 in control and 8 in vigor. And I believe there is another thing here that can increase your vigor, but there's also another one that increases your control. So technically I could take either one of these and be pretty happy with it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take prestige because that increases my party limit. I think that's pretty good. And we're probably going to be taking strong because this also increases your foot troops party speed, which in my opinion, I mean, your foot troops give you more party speed, which in my opinion is really good. So we're going to be increasing our vigor by 1 there. That's looking real nice. All right, so my improved garrison is going to do its thing. And we should probably sell our prisoners as well. So that's going to sell for 14,000. I think that's decent, right? Yeah, I'm going to sell that. Now, is there anything else? I could check for a crossbow. It's highly unlikely there's going to be a crossbow here, to be honest. I mean, look, there are literal noble longbows here. And these things are absolutely insane. I mean, the noble bow or the noble longbow, they're absolutely amazing. They're really, really good. But no crossbows, which is really sad. I mean, there are slings, but you know how they turned out for me. Not very good at all. But, oh well, never mind. Okay, so now that we've taken this, it's probably about time that we go searching for something else, right? So, let's see. What's actually going on here? Okay, so there are no castles nearby to us, which is... they almost got me. They almost got me right there. In the nighttime as well. That was a very sneaky maneuver right there. And he's probably going to try and take this castle, isn't he? No, he's not. No. Okay, no. They're going straight for us. They're going straight for us. That is perfectly fine with me. Because we are going to build some very, very nice defenses. And you know how I feel about ballistas. I personally love ballistas, and it seems like our wife has now gotten pregnant, which is actually super nice too. Oh, never mind. Apparently they are abandoning the siege, which is to be expected because now they are being attacked by a Southern Imperium army, which is perfect. Oh yes, absolutely perfect. So now we're going to be heading in there and taking part in the field battle. Oh yeah, that's going to be working real nice in my opinion. Okay, so we're missing a formation at the moment. What are we missing? Okay, this. We have one horse archer. One horse archer. He's all on his lonesome and he's perfectly happy to be here. You know, that's actually some of the most fun things that you can do. One of the most fun things that you can do in the game is literally just to do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is literally staying super far away, seeing the trajectory of your projectile, whatever it might be, you know, crossbow, bow, I mean, even a thrown weapon. I mean, I don't know whether you'd be able to hit from this distance. I mean, from, you know, very long range with a thrown weapon, it's highly unlikely. But the point is, seeing that happen on a landscape like this, super open, really nice and bright and everything, super fun, super satisfying when you're actually able to hit as well. And yeah, who knows what we're going to be able to do here. Maybe I can do a little bit of stabby action too. Oh yes, nice. Take out one of those enemies, and maybe we can get a little bit more damage on these guys too. Alright, we're going to just charge in. I'm just going to charge in my forces. And we're just going to eliminate these guys as fast as we possibly can. Oh, this guy has no idea what's up. I am completely murdering him. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish the job. Oh well, never mind. And that's also something, obviously, that I've talked about in the past. But generally, I feel like if you are so inclined, let's say that, you know, you're a bandit or a criminal or something along those lines, or maybe indeed you are a dishonorable player. and I'm talking about, you know, your character build. I'm not talking about you as a person, obviously, but generally, I'm just saying, let's say that you're playing a dishonorable character that is all about raiding and criminal activities and executing people and all that stuff, right? So let's say you're playing a character like that. Why would it be adverse, or should we say out of that behavior, to literally make yourself wield poisoned weapons? Imagine it, literally, having a blade that is coated in poison. I think that would be super, super cool. And, you know, now here's the thing, okay? How would it be if there was, I mean, obviously, you know, things like alchemy and stuff like that. I actually don't know whether alchemy, I mean, I would assume that obviously medicine was around at this point, and I would assume that poison is also around at this point in history, right? I mean, obviously Calradia is a fictional place, but I would assume that it has, you know, many of the same sort of things, you know what I mean? It has the same sort of technology level and so on and so forth. So I would assume that they have the same kind of weaponry and so on. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is, in those kinds of cases, when I'm actually on the field of battle and I'm doing massive damage to some guy, but I'm not able to finish him off, wouldn't it be super cool to then have your poison finish him off? And it doesn't have to be a 100% chance, by the way. It doesn't have to be a 100% chance for it to be applied, because maybe the guy could have some natural resilience to the poison, or, you know, maybe he has, I don't know, something. I mean, is this going too much into the fantasy realm? That's the thing that I suppose we have to ask ourselves, because if it goes too much into the fantasy realm and turns too much towards that side, when the game is obviously trying to be a realistic sort of very low fantasy, if any fantasy at all, simulator of sorts, then, you know, just forget what I'm talking about. But I think it could be really, really fun to have certain weapons that actually do have a poison element, whether that be poison arrows, a poison dagger, or generally, for example, look at my weapon right now. I personally feel like it would be pretty in keeping to have this weapon be coated in some poison. I don't know. And maybe there could be a crafting system for it as well. Imagine that. A crafting system for that would be really, really amazing. And maybe some kind of out of combat system associated with poisoning people as well. So, for example, if they wanted to, I mean, I obviously don't know how easy this is to implement or anything, but if they wanted to, they could add an additional an additional perk tree that focuses on other craftables. So I'm not talking about just smithing here. I'm talking about other things, like, as I said, like alchemy, like creating medicines. I mean, obviously there's already a medicine tree, right? There's already a medicine tree, so maybe there could just be 1 or 2 perks in the roguery tree and in the medicine tree, so you'd have to be a medicine / roguery kind of character build. And you could possibly then create a character that is all about backstabbing people, all about ambushing them, all about that sort of thing. And I can imagine that what would also be really, really fun is if you were able to set up ambushes, and then in these ambushes, literally just take a handful of your units, all equipped with poisoned weapons, by the way. Let's say that there's actually a troop tree that specializes in assassinations, for example. And you have these guys, and you go into the ambush, you manage to hit your target with 1 poisoned arrow or something like that, and then you run away and you retreat. And then on the world map, the poison continues dealing damage over time until the enemy has either been knocked unconscious or has been killed. And I think that could be a very fun mechanic. Obviously, the balancing is not up to me. This is just an idea, and you know, it's just a very mild suggestion, so it's really nothing to really be too concerned with, but I think that could be a lot of fun. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to increase my trade skill and increase my intelligence a little bit more, because I do want to get another caravan, so that's exactly what we're going to do now. I did get some more prisoners as well, so hopefully we're going to be able to sell those for a tidy profit. Gonna sell all that. There we go. And we're gonna sell all these guys for 16,000. That's looking real good. And unfortunately, I don't have any additional companions. So I'm gonna have to speak to some of these people, see if they have riding skill. No, they all have athletics, which is kind of bad. Okay, well, we'll just get her then, I suppose. And I've sold all my armor and stuff like that, so I will not be able to equip her with anything, which is somewhat unfortunate. But we're just going to do that. There we go. She's going to go off and do that. Hopefully she'll be okay. I mean, let's face it, she's probably not going to survive more than, I don't know, a week or so, but hopefully she'll get some decent profit in that time and also increase my trade skill. Just a little bit, you know, just a little bit. That's all she really needs to do. Anyway, do we have any additional perks? No, I thought I actually did. Oh, well. Okay, so that is probably going to be it for this episode. And so I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.